Welcome to the 14er podcast. This is episode 1, brought to you by toppeak.com. If you're looking for a souvenir of a 14er you've climbed, head on over to toppeak.com. And so in this episode, we're going to discuss maybe a controversial topic. And that topic is, which 14er offers the best view? And you can break this down in several ways, because as you climb each mountain, you get different perspectives from different elevations, right? And each mountain has different sides you can climb up as well, offering different views. Climbing the west side of Pikes Peak is different than climbing the east side. But to make this simple, what 14er offers the best view from the top? And this may get very subjective, and disagreements will certainly arise. And I think trying to compare views on top of 14ers might be like trying to compare a Miss America pageant. All the girls are beautiful, and it's difficult to just pick a top 5. But that's what we're here today to do, to talk about which 14ers offer the best view from the summit. And again, this isn't, just to clarify, this isn't which 14er is most beautiful, like which 14er makes the best photo. This is which 14er has the best view from being on it. And that's quite a bit different than discussing which 14er is the most beautiful. Those are two different subjects. There's, oh, this mountain looks beautiful. And then there's, wow, this view from up here is beautiful. So we're not discussing which mountain is most beautiful. It's the view we're talking about. And we'll probably save which mountain is the most beautiful for an episode in the future. So to start this process, I did some Googling and tried to find some blog posts and get some top lists of anything that anybody's written on this topic of what 14er offers the best view. So here are some of the lists that I found in the corners of the internet. And again, this is totally non-scientific, but I'm just sharing what's out there. So one list I found says this: Humboldt is my favorite peak in terms of view of a 38 that I have completed. Number 2 is Huron, a close second. So we got Humboldt and Huron. I think a lot of it depends on the time of the year and the day you climb though. If there's a bit of snow on surrounding peaks, as there was when I climbed Huron, it improves the view. And personally, I thought North Maroon had a better summit view than Pyramid, but when I climbed Pyramid, there were a lot of clouds and the views were diminished. So that's a good point. You know, when you climb a peak, you have to take into account cloudy days versus sunny days. On days when it's cloudy, the views are going to be significantly diminished. And so as you think about which 14er offers the best view, think only in terms of on a clear day. You can hike Humboldt, for example, and not see much if the weather's not right. But this person said of a 38 they've hiked, Humboldt offered the best view. Another person said this: the most beautiful 14er for me is the one I'm currently climbing. I can't ever remember being on a 14er and not being amazed by the views. I think that's a good point too. Even the 50th most beautiful 14er view would still be a good view, right? All right, here's a list I came across. It's a top 5. Number 1, Pyramid. And they say, absolutely gorgeous. Number 2, Windham. Very underrated, not a popular peak, but one of the best views for sure. Number 3, San Luis. A stunning view, and the only 14er I can recall that is completely absent of any man-made landmarks, 360 degrees in any direction that I could see. Number 4, Elbert. Just spectacular views of the Saguache Range. And number 5, Pikes Peak. An amazing panorama of the Front Range and a cool overlook of an urban setting with Colorado Springs below. All right, so that list included, again, number 1, Pyramid, number 2, Windham, number 3, San Luis, number 4, Elbert, and number 5, Pikes Peak. So 1 vote for Pyramid and 1 vote for Humboldt so far. Another list I came across is a top 3 list. Number 1, Handies, hands down. So Handies, hands down, number 1. Number 2, Humboldt is a close second. And number 3, Sneffels. On Sneffels, they say, no comment needed. Beautiful views from the summit any day of the year. All right, so 1 vote for Handies. So we got a vote for Pyramid, a vote for Humboldt, and a vote for Handies. Another blog had this. Number 1, Huron. And if I'm mispronouncing this, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if it's Huron or Huron. I think it's Huron, but I could be wrong. So Huron, he says, hiking Huron in the fall with the changing color of leaves might be the prettiest hike on earth. Hike Huron in late September and thank me later. All right. And then this person has Holy Cross as number 2. Holy Cross took my breath away. And number 3, Harvard. I sat on top of Harvard for a while, just gazing at the surroundings. It's an amazing peak to be on top of. All right, so we have a vote for Huron. Seems like the H's are doing well, right? We got Humboldt, Handies, Huron, and Pyramid. Another list I came across had, in no particular order, Holy Cross, Huron, the southwest slope of Massive, Longs, and Wetterhorn as their favorites. And for me personally, Handies was the first peak I climbed, I believe, and it was a long time ago, but I still remember it, and it did have spectacular views. And I think Handies holds a special place in my heart, being my first 14er. Although I might have been on top of Pikes Peak before that, but I didn't hike it. So for me personally, I think Handies had a great view from top. Just so many mountains around Handies, and with patches of snow, it's almost unexplainable without a visual, right? The bad thing about podcasting is you don't get any visual. So doing an episode on the best 14er with a view, I apologize that we can't share photos of this. But if you get on Facebook or Instagram, put your favorite photo from a summit of a 14er and simply hashtag 14er podcast and hashtag best view, and I'll see if I can find it. And you're welcome also to share your thoughts. I'll be sure to share those in future episodes. But if I can summarize kind of what I've found searching the internet, my own personal experience, talking to other people, I think I would answer this question of which 14ers offer the best views from the summit. I will answer that question with the top 3. Number 1, Handies. Number 2, Humboldt. And number 3, Huron. And that's easy to remember as well. It's the H's. So the 14ers that begin with H should offer you amazing views from the top. And you know what? I'll include Harvard in there too as a runner-up. Harvard is amazing too. So if you hike a 14er with the letter H, get your cameras out and get ready for great views on top. Handies, Humboldt, Huron, Harvard. That's how we're answering that question today on the 14ers podcast. If you disagree, please leave a comment. Also on our Facebook page, you can search for us as the 14er Store, facebook.com/14er Store. Not spelled out with the FOUR, but spelled out just with the number 1 and the number 4, ER, store. And give us your top 3 peaks with views from the summit. All right, so once again, thanks for listening to this first episode of a 14er podcast. Many, many more episodes will be coming in the future, and we're going to talk about everything 14ers. Again, the episode was brought to you by toppeak.com, where you can pick yourself up or a friend a souvenir from any of the mountains that you climb. Thanks for listening to the 14er podcast. We'll see you next time.